I'd like to say, first of all, Happy Easter 2024 to everyone. I'm going to it's raining here where we live, and I'm hoping it calms down and fades out before long. If not, I'll put an umbrella over something over myself. I have to go out in it. But anyway, we got petite sirloins today, and we had them froze, so they're not hardly thawed out good. Some of them is thawing pretty good. The smaller ones, the bigger ones, it's going to take longer. So I'm going to go ahead and season them and get them ready and let them sit for maybe an hour, hour and a half to finish getting up close to not much lower than room temperature, maybe in the 50 degrees there, 60 maybe, before I put them on. Here we go, and first thing I do is put pepper on, and pretty liberal on the pepper. These petite sirloins is a tasty steak, you know. This will be more or less our meal for Easter this evening. So anyhow, that's how that's going to pan out. Let me get my napkin. All right, getting that pepper on it. Anyhow, the first thing I do is pepper it, then I put some salt on it, then I'll put the steak season on it. Hang on just a minute. I'm trying to work as fast as I can and still do a good job. I like pretty good lot of pepper on it, and some of that pepper will, about half of it will cook off of it anyhow. So that was the pepper. Let's go with the salt. I'll season both sides of these too, not just one side to get seasoned. Some of these are a little bit bigger than the other ones, but that don't hurt it. All right. This is not Blackstone seasoning. It's that steakhouse seasoning that comes from Sam's. It comes in a big container about this big. It's about $10. I don't forget how many ounces, but I'll fill this up and use it. I've had this kind before. I saved this container so it'd be easier to handle, and then just transfer it over into this stuff. Alrighty, I usually put pretty good amount of steak seasoning on it. Some of that will flavor it pretty good before you even put it on the grill, depending on how long you let it sit, you know. And it won't hurt my feelings. I like the taste of the meat, but I like the taste of the seasoning also. So here we go. Some of that shit cold. This stuff's not sticking on. I should have got some little bit of oil rubbed on, but they'll live. I'm gonna come back a little bit and season the other side, then put them on. So you see what I got there. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 petite sirloins. There you go. Anyhow, I was going to show you. I went ahead and turned the steaks over and seasoned the other side identical to the way I did the first side. Now this is the steak season I'm talking about. It's Montreal steak season by Grill Mates in McCormick Company. And it's 29 ounces. That's a pretty good lot. Pound is 13 ounces. And I transfer this over into the smaller one because it's a lot easier to handle, see. It's the same stuff. I have bought that before and used that, but I like this just as good. And if you do a lot of grilling, you need a whole lot, so you'll have some when you need it. And if you buy little ones, you'll run out right when you need it. So I can transfer it over into this, and it's just as good as that is, and that is more handy. So I guess that would help you if you wanted to do that. It'd be easier to handle. All right, I've already got the grill fairly clean with the spatula and stuff. But anyhow, I'm gonna cut it on, preheat it to about 300 before I put these steaks on. So I'll cut my gas on. You have to start these on a high first. You hear it kick in there. That's 2. All 3 of them kicked in. It won't take long to be 300. I'm going in to get the steaks. Here we go with 2 things, metal pans with steaks. One out. Alrighty. Been raining some this morning, so we got that to look at here today. Alrighty, petite sirloins. It's almost up to 300, and since some of them needs some of them a little thick, should have been a little bit more room temperature. I'll put them on there just a little bit earlier than the rest. Those 3, that one, and that one. I'll just put them all on there, I guess. I usually fix each steak. We got 15 of them, and we'll put them all on, do them together. Alrighty. I guess I'll have room for them. I'll take all 3 burners, but we got room. We'll make room. There you go. 15 of them. Put them on and it gets to 300. Left on there about all 3 or 4 minutes, maybe 5 on the first side. Then, and I'll probably, once the temperature gets to 300, I'll have to cut the burners down to at least halfway instead of on high. So got them on high to start out with to get that 300 degree starting temperature. Usually takes about all together by the time I put them on, about 20 minutes probably. Maybe not hardly that much, because sirloins cook faster and don't have as much fat on them. So, you know, I usually like to keep about a 300 degree oven or somewhere around that area. It's building up pretty fast, so it'll come around. I've had a new tank of propane hooked up that I done the last cook that I had out here, so should have plenty of that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it on halfway so it won't flare up much until I get ready for it to. Okay, be back in a few minutes and we'll turn it. All right, I got the temperature going over 300. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the low setting on it for a little bit and see how it holds at that, because I got all 3 burners burning, and it should hold around 300 to 325, even 290 or something like that. So we'll see. I think it's about time for us to turn them the first time. We'll see here. We'll eyeball this and let me get the thing to turn them with. Okie dokie. Let's just see what they're looking like. Let's turn the biggest one first. Oh Lord, yeah, it smells good too. Smells good. We'll be eating good today, thank the Lord. You know, the Bible says that the Lord owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. That's a pretty good lot of cattle if you ask me. And 1,000 hills is a lot. Anyhow, I made 16 of them. I thought they just happened to froze together or something. Anyhow, if the Lord's got a cattle on 1,000 hills, I'm sure you don't mind me having a little bite or two of them cows. All right, it's time to turn them again. This will be the second time of turning. I paused about a couple of minutes in between turning them on my camera video, so I don't want to burn up a lot of time if I can help it doing this. These are looking awful good, I tell you. Oh, it's going to be just right when they get done. You watch and see. They want them medium rare, so it's kind of hard. I don't know if you. It's kind of hard to get the smaller steaks. It's in a medium rare for some reason. But anyhow, it can be done, I guess. It can be done. It just takes time. Let's see what we got. I'm turning that in a blade. Let's see. No, turn it again. That's it. I should went in a line across there. Quit diddling back and forth. That way they all get done at the same time. Okay. Let's get this show on the road. My buddy's out here. Here, buddy. Look there. Get that apple. Come on. There's you one. Grab that. Come on. There's you one. Get that. Oh, buddy. Happy now. You looking for me? Hi. Oh, get that apple right there. Get that apple right there. Get that banana right there. Oh, you looking at me? Was you seeing me? You're awful pretty today. I've got time to turn this again. Let me get the right doohickey to do it with. It's almost on 300. That's what I wanted to cook, because a couple of them thick ones wasn't hardly warmed up like I wanted them to be warmed up. I don't want them raw on the inside. I like them pink. I like it pink. Oh, they're cooking pretty good, I tell you. They're looking good. Every one of them is. Every one of them is. I don't know if I turned in or not. I guess I did. I guess I did, man. Let's see. Okay, it's time to turn this stuff again. It's my steaks. So let's see what we got. Just turn them all in. Start the front and go to the back type thing this time, so we won't miss none of them. They're cooking pretty good, I tell you that now. They're looking good, good, good. I think they are. Couple pretty good sizes there. Sure is. As they say down south, you know, if the Lord owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, you know he owns the hills. Anyhow, best to have good food to eat, whatever, you know. Lord bless us with that. I don't take no credit for it. You know, worked hard when I was a young man. By the time I was about a little bit past 15 years old, had enough credits in high school, built up to where I didn't have to go to school but half a day in 11th and 12th. I got off at 12 o'clock in 11th and 12th grades. Main thing I had to do was English. I was a little bit slow on. Right, I had that too. But anyway, went to work when I was 15 in a supermarket, stocking, shucking corn. First one thing, working back in the refrigerated section and be froze to death just about the time you got out of there. I'd work 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. Then I went to work for a Coca-Cola bottling company, taking delivering pop. Back when most of them was bottle pop in little small bottles, you know, 7 ounces or 6.5 ounces. Boy, that pop was good back in. Anyhow, when I was 18 years old, see, my grandfather and his brother, a lot of my family come from railroaders. Like, we was railroad band. Anyhow, my grandfather was a boss, but he'd already retired, so he didn't help me now. And his brother was still working. He worked for a little while. But my grandfather was a boss on a traveling gang on the railroad. It done work and travel from one place to the other. His brother, my great uncle, was a section boss in one of the big town that's got the roundhouses to work on trains and all that. I won't go into where we're at, but it's in West Virginia. And I wanted the job on the railroad. My mother favored it instead of going into mines. So my grandmother told me, she's a good woman, said, honey, you go down there and you ask him and tell him who you are, tell him you want to work. I was 18 years old. And I went and I went and I went and I went and picked on the door, and I was there every day or two, you know. My grandmother said, honey, don't you worry. She said, you keep going back and they'll get tired of looking at you, they'll give you a job. And sure enough, the real gang come by. It had 170 men in it, and they laid track. And they was taking up these 39-foot rails. And these 39-foot rails was being replaced with what was called ribbon steel. Each piece of it was 1/4 of a mile long, and it come in on flat cars. It laid across multiple flat cars that the train pulled. Anyhow, they had it on rollers and stuff tied down, and they'd roll them off right next to the track. Had a big clamshell burr crane type thing, and I was on the tail. They put me on the tail end of that. They give me a job. Said, buddy, I'm gonna try you. Put me on that rail gang in the tail end of it. And the first job I had was running an air hammer, weighed about 90 pounds. Plus all that hose and all that type of stuff is hooked to it. Anyhow, they worked 10 hours a day, 4 days a week. Started at 7, was off by 5. Had a 30-minute lunch break. But anyhow, went to work at 7 o'clock my first day running that hammer. And I got sweat. It was in the middle of June the 10th, matter of fact. First day I worked on the railroad. And I was sweating. It was about probably 80 degrees or more, and it was just hot on that railroad train. No air stirring, it seemed like. I had sweat almost down to my knees. My hands was hurting, feet was hurting, back was hurting, muscles was jerking from doing that hard work while I wasn't used to doing it. And his old colored man at work back there, he'd switch out with me every once in a while. He said, you can't go fighting it. You got to just work it as you can and just ease into it and get your own speed. And he knows what he's talking about. Well, anyhow, he switched out with me and gave me a break every so often. But, you know, they was afraid I was going to make boss, I guess, because my grandfather, he said, was a hard man to work for. I mean, back in the days when, they bulldogged you to death, they said. But anyhow, some of them old foremans and stuff, it had worked for him. Had worked for him as laborers. A lot of black men on them railroad gangs then. And a few of them made foremen. It was there, had been there when my grandfather was working. Anyhow, they just didn't want me to get to be superintendent or nothing. They're afraid I'd be hard like my grandpa was. But I never did want to be superintendent. I ended up being a machine operator and had about 5 or 6 qualifications, made good money. And anyway, I stayed with that job for about 5 years. And then I went in, believe it or not, I left that job. All my family's raised in Sant. Left that job, and I'm gonna go ahead while I'm talking and turn this again. Left that job and went on, left that job, and I was offered a job. The next job is a life insurance salesman, believe it or not. Anyhow, I had to go to Charleston to take training. I was there gone for, seemed to me like about a week, maybe 10 days or something. Can't remember exactly how many days I was there. But I had to take a test to show that I knew what I was doing before they would give me a license to sell life insurance. Anyhow, I passed it went to work, had my own area to work. And within a year and a half, I was come in the second highest earning salesman that they had in the whole state of West Virginia. Big company. They held all the borough funds for the United Mine Workers people and stuff, you know, and they had their families and all that they wrote policies for. Back then, there's a lot of United Mine Workers families. Some of them was just retired. But anyhow, I stayed with that a couple of years. They even awarded me and my wife to go to South Carolina to the beach, fed us steaks, all kinds of stuff. Done. They did when I left. They didn't want me to go. They begged me not to go. Anyhow, I had within a year's time, in the same area now, I created another man a job. My book that showed where the people lived and their address and what policies they had, and I'd go from door to door to collect, and I also sold policies. I created almost a book just about as big as the one I had. Anyhow, they made another man a job and gave him about a third or more of my area. So anyway, but they didn't want me to leave. I was still second best salesman in the state, they said. I left there because what I'd done, I'd always wanted to do equipment work, and I ended up buying a bulldozer. I don't know why I'm telling all this, me cooking. Ended up buying my first bulldozer, paid $5,000 for it. And back then, that's a lot of money. It was used, and it wasn't as easy working as what people thought. And you had to watch back then. People would steal your battery out of your bulldozer, try to vandalize it and all that. If you was out in the country working, different things I've had to put up with. But I was blessed to provide for my family. And later on, I ended up going into mining because I had equipment. I started out with some small equipment. And I bought bigger equipment, bigger dozers, end loaders, dump truck, tractor trailer, stuff like that. Bought one piece at a time. And I ended up in mining for about 2 years myself. But at the same place that I went in mining at, I had been there for about, I'd been there for about at least 10 years or longer, working for the other two people that run that job, this service mine type job. So anyway, then the job played out after a couple, 2 or 3 years after I had it worked out, and that was the tough time. I thought, well, I'll go into coal trucking, and more or less what you do is buy yourself a job by buying a dump truck. So anyhow, I bought a brand smack new Mack, biggest than what you could get, 10-wheeler, RD 800. Had the cab set sort of in the center of it, you know. Some of y'all truckers that might know what I'm talking about. It had the big wheels. Seemed to me like it was 22-inch rubber or whatever. I can't remember. It's been so long. But anyhow, I done real good the first few years, and then it got to where that worked down to where I had to go into other stuff. But anyhow, I was blessed to raise a family. All my children that me and my wife had, they're grown up. We adopted 3 girls, and one of them was our granddaughter and her 2 half-sisters. And we raised all of them. They're up and married, got their own children. We got one of the girls still left. She's just turned 12 years old Friday, 29th. Anyhow, we still got that one 12 years old, raising her. And I'm retired, and I'm almost 70 years old. I just like maybe, I don't even like hardly 6 months, 5.5 months. But the Lord's blessed me to be here. I've seen a lot of things in my time. Been a lot of places. When I was turning 18 years old, getting ready to graduate, I signed up for the draft. And then I graduated. A lot of years went by. Vietnam War was a big deal back then. It was big, hard fighting. A lot of people dying. I had kin people died in that, you know. But anyhow, a lot of people come back. They didn't get much credit for what they did. They called the soldiers baby killers, throwed off on them, tried to spit on them and stuff. They hated the uniform. They got burning the United States flag, and they would do that, have rallies, and act like silliness. But anyhow, I had that on my mind. I don't know where that come from out of the blue. But I'm getting ready to take some of these off. Let me get off what I'm talking about before I burn my steaks. But anyhow, I thought I'd talk a little bit about that. And I look at things different than I did when I was a young man. I'll put this in there. I've been in some battles. I'm still carrying bullet fragments that I got long ago, lodged next to my lung. But the Lord has blessed me. A few years ago, I got really sick. I felt like I was going to die. I get bad off trying to do anything. You have to lay down and stretch out. Just felt like I was fading away. So they made me an appointment, my doctor did, to have my heart checked. I wore that Holter monitor, I guess you call it, 2 days, take it back. They said, you're going to have a heart catheter. So there I was, eating a heart catheter. They done the heart catheter and come in and told my wife, they had the pictures of it, I was still in recovery, said, your husband has got a good valve in the right part of the heart, good one in the left, but his back valve is totally blocked. That's been about about 2019, maybe 2018, 19. But anyhow, they told her that, so the weight said his heart, talking about mine, has made 2 small bypasses by itself in the area of the blocked artery in the back, or blocked valve. Said it's the valve back there, it's hard to work on, and we're going to try to treat him with medicine and see if that, and let time go by and see what, we're not going to operate on him, not do open heart surgery or stents or bypasses unless we have to. So they put me on 2 heart pills. Take 2 in the morning and 1 in the evening. And I was all the time having to take blood pressure pills then. But the strange thing is, from the first dose that I took, I could tell a difference. I felt a little bit better. So I'm in better shape now than what I was then in 2018 or so. Times went by, each time I don't feel good. But if you boil it all down, and I feel like I'm in better shape than I was then. The medicine has helped. And the prayers, people prayed for me and stuff, you know. I've had to kind of limit some of the things to do. I went on a diet about 1.5 years ago. I lost 37 pounds. I was 250 pounds and getting sick again. Anyhow, I got down to 213 pounds, I think it was. I've gained about 7 or 8 or 10 pounds that bag, but not a whole lot of it. But anyhow, I feel better after I've lost that weight. And I don't take blood pressure pills all the time like I was before. I still take my heart pills. And anyhow, they've not raised the milligrams or nothing on it. They've been the same identical 2 heart pills and the same milligrams I've took for 5 or 6 years. You think of that. So evidently something's working. Looks like to me it is. And anyhow, I'm gonna take my pocket knife and check that this time. It's clean. I've had it for years and it's new. So I'm gonna see what these things is doing. I don't want to overcook them. You can stay on here with me for a minute. I'm gonna try this one first. If this one's right, I can take the rest of them off and they'll be all right. That's that one's right. You see that? That right there is medium rare. So this one will go. That one will go. Some of these will be a little bit more doner than medium rare. Some of them will be medium. But that's just the way the cookie bounces, I guess. I got talking and might have left them on a little too long, but they'll still make do. They'll still work. They'll still work. The one that I got to worry about is that one, the thick one. So that's what I'm going to cut on next. I might cut all 3 of these just to see how they look. Let me see if I'm right on this. This one should be pretty well where it needs to be. That's good. A little bit more than, dropped it. So that's the end of that one. Let me get that up there. That's the end of that one. That's the way the cookie bounces, I guess. Anyhow, this one right here is going to be medium rare, if not more. No, that's about right. Look, that ain't a good looking steak. What is? That means that's done. So we're done. We're finished. And I've rambled around like I don't know what, like a I don't know. Anyhow, I'll meet you at the table. Hold on just a minute. All right, this is how the steaks turned out. Petite sirloin, and it was good. You can see how they got cooked there on mine right there. I mean, it's just, I've not tasted of it yet, but it's tender to cut. So I thank the Lord for the food today. It's my family and my wife and
Happy Easter.
2 of my daughters and my son. One of my sons there. I've got 2 more sons.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, everybody. God bless you.
God bless you.